the power of positive thinking is something that has fascinated people for generations. It's a concept that seems simple, yet can have profound effects on how we live our lives. But it's not just about thinking happy thoughts or having an optimistic attitude when everything is going well. Positive thinking is about something deeper. It's about transforming the way we respond to the world, the way we see ourselves, and the way we create our own reality. It's a shift in perspective that can lead to real, lasting change. Let's think about the challenges we face in life. We all have them. Some days they feel overwhelming. Whether it's a personal struggle, a work-related challenge, or an obstacle in our relationships, it can be easy to get caught up in the difficulties. It's easy to fall into a mindset of negativity where all we see are the problems and obstacles in our way. And when we're focused on the negative, it can feel like everything is spiraling out of control. But here's the thing, what if we could choose to see things differently? What if we could look at life through a lens of possibility, even when things are tough? What if, instead of focusing on everything that's wrong, we started focusing on everything that's right? What if we shifted our thinking, not just for a day or a week, but as a long-term strategy for how we approach every area of our lives? That's the power of positive thinking. It's not about pretending that challenges don't exist. It's about learning how to respond to those challenges in a way that empowers us rather than holds us back. And when we learn to do that, we open up a whole new world of possibilities. At its core, positive thinking is rooted in the belief that your thoughts shape your reality. The way you think about yourself, your abilities, and the world around you determines how you experience life. So if you want to change your life, you need to change the way you think. This might sound simple, but it's actually one of the most powerful things you can do for yourself. Think about it. When you believe in your ability to succeed, when you believe that things will work out, you act differently. You show up with more confidence. You take action. You keep going even when things get difficult. You are more likely to take the risks that lead to growth and success. On the flip side, when you believe that things won't work out or that you're not good enough, you act from a place of fear. You hold back. You play small. You might even give up before you've had a chance to fully try. Negative thoughts create negative emotions, and those negative emotions drive actions that keep us stuck in the same place. So how do we begin shifting our thinking? How do we move from a place of doubt and fear to a place of belief and possibility? The first step is to recognize the power of your thoughts. Pay attention to the way you think. Are you mostly thinking about what could go wrong, or are you focused on what could go right? Are you constantly doubting yourself, or are you building yourself up with positive, affirming thoughts? One of the best ways to start shifting your mindset is through awareness. Start by noticing the negative thoughts that pop into your mind throughout the day. When you catch yourself thinking negatively, take a moment to pause. Ask yourself, is this thought serving me? Is this thought helping me move toward my goals, or is it holding me back? Most of the time, negative thoughts are just stories we tell ourselves, and we have the power to rewrite those stories. For example, let's say you're facing a tough challenge at work, and your first thought is, I'm not good enough for this, I can't do it. That's a limiting belief that's based on fear and self-doubt. Instead of letting that thought define you, challenge it. Ask yourself, what evidence do I have that I can't do this? What if I looked at this challenge as an opportunity to learn and grow instead? The key is to interrupt the negative thought pattern and replace it with a more positive, empowering thought. Another way to shift your thinking is through gratitude. Gratitude is one of the most powerful tools you can use to change your mindset. When you focus on what you're grateful for, it shifts your attention away from what's missing or what's wrong and brings you into a state of abundance. Gratitude helps you see the good in your life, even when things aren't perfect. And when you focus on the good, you naturally begin to attract more of it. Start a daily gratitude practice. Every day, write down 3 things you're grateful for. They can be small things like a delicious cup of coffee in the morning, or big things like the support of a close friend or a job that you love. The more you practice gratitude, the more your brain will start to look for things to be grateful for, and the more positive your overall outlook will become. Visualization is another powerful tool that can help you harness the power of positive thinking. Visualization is the practice of mentally picturing yourself achieving your goals and living the life you want. When you visualize success, your brain doesn't distinguish between what's real and what's imagined. It starts to believe that success is not only possible but inevitable. Take a few minutes each day to close your eyes and visualize yourself succeeding. Imagine yourself handling challenges with ease. Picture yourself achieving your goals and living the life you've always dreamed of. See the emotions you'll feel when you get that pride, happiness, fulfillment. Visualization helps rewire your brain to believe that these things are possible for you. But visualization alone isn't enough. You also need to take consistent action. Positive thinking isn't about sitting back and waiting for things to happen. It's about showing up and doing the work, even when things feel tough. When you believe that success is possible, you take action from a place of confidence, knowing that you are capable and deserving of achieving your goals. One of the most important things to remember is that positive thinking doesn't mean ignoring the challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing that challenges are part of life and that you have the strength and resilience to overcome them. Positive thinking is about choosing to see obstacles as opportunities for growth, rather than insurmountable roadblocks. When you approach life with a positive mindset, you start to see problems differently. Instead of getting stuck in frustration, you start to look for solutions. Instead of dwelling on what's going wrong, you look for what's going right. And when things don't go as planned, you bounce back more quickly because you know that setbacks are just a part of the journey. Positive thinking also has a huge impact on your relationships. When you think positively, you show up as a more supportive, loving, and empathetic person. You attract people who are also positive and supportive, and you create an environment of growth and positivity in your relationships. Think about it when you're around someone who is always complaining or focusing on the negative. It's draining, right? But when you're around someone who exudes positivity, it lifts you up and makes you feel better about yourself and the world. The people you surround yourself with are incredibly important. Positive thinking isn't just about what's going on in your mind, it's also about the energy you put out into the world. When you surround yourself with positive people and you seek out environments that support your growth, your mindset will naturally shift to match that energy. One of the most powerful things about positive thinking is that it's contagious. When you start thinking positively, you start influencing those around you. Your positive energy spreads to others, and you create a ripple effect that can change not only your life, but the lives of people around you. You become a beacon of light and hope, inspiring others to believe in themselves and pursue their own dreams. As you continue to practice positive thinking, you'll start to notice changes in yourself and your life. You'll feel more confident, more resilient, and more empowered. Your relationships will improve. Opportunities will begin to appear where you once saw only obstacles. And most importantly, you'll start to see yourself as the person you were always meant to be, the person capable of achieving anything you set your mind to. Positive thinking isn't a one-time fix. It's a lifelong practice. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. The more you challenge negative thoughts, the easier it becomes to shift your mindset. And the more you surround yourself with positivity, the more that energy will become a part of who you are. So take this message with you today. Embrace the power of positive thinking and watch as it transforms your life in ways you never imagined. The thoughts you think today shape the reality you experience tomorrow. Change your thoughts, change your life. Life has a way of throwing challenges at us when we least expect it, and it can often feel like we're up against a wall, trying to push through with everything we've got. Whether it's a dream that feels too distant, a goal that seems too far out of reach, or an obstacle that feels insurmountable, it's easy to think about giving up. The problem is, when you give up, you forfeit the possibility of achieving something incredible. What happens when you push past the impossible, when you refuse to let setbacks define you, is where growth truly begins. The power of never giving up is something that can completely transform your life. It's the ability to take that next step, no matter how difficult the journey ahead seems, to turn the impossible into something achievable. In those moments when everything feels like it's working against you, it's crucial to remember that you are not alone. The toughest battles in life often have the most meaningful rewards. It's easy to assume that successful people had it easier, that they simply had a lucky break. But if we take a closer look, we'll realize that their journey was anything but easy. Most of them faced their own struggles, their own moments where they felt defeated. What set them apart wasn't luck or talent. It was their resilience, their refusal to give up when life seemed to be pushing them down. Think about someone like Thomas Edison. Most people know him as the inventor of the light bulb, but how many of us know that he failed thousands of times before he got it right? It's said that Edison tried over 1,000 different ways to make the light bulb work. For most people, failure on such a massive scale would have been enough to quit. But Edison didn't see failure the way many of us do. He didn't see it as an end. Instead, he saw it as one more lesson in the process of success. His mindset was this: I haven't failed, I've just found 1,000 ways that won't work. That mindset, that refusal to give up, is why we're able to turn on a light today and have it illuminate the room around us. Edison's story is a perfect example of how persistence, not perfection, is the key to making the impossible possible. Then there's the story of J.K. Rowling, author of the beloved Harry Potter series. Before Harry Potter became a worldwide phenomenon, Rowling was a struggling single mother living on welfare. She faced rejection after rejection from publishers 12 times in total before one took a chance on her. Most people would have given up after the first rejection, or the fifth, or even the 10th. But Rowling didn't. She kept going. She kept believing in her story, even when the world didn't see the potential in it. And now Harry Potter is one of the best-selling book series of all time, a global phenomenon that has inspired millions of readers around the world. Rowling's story teaches us an important lesson. Just because people can't see the value in your vision doesn't mean it's not valuable. Keep going, even when others doubt you, even when the road is long, because sometimes it's only by pushing through those moments of doubt that we find true success. These stories remind us that the greatest achievements come not from avoiding failure, but from learning how to cope with it. The road to success is often paved with setbacks, detours, and mistakes, but each one of those moments is a stepping stone on the path to something greater. The truth is, you are going to fail. We all do. But the most important thing is not how many times you fall down, but how many times you get back up. This isn't just a lesson for the greats or those we look up to. This is a lesson that applies to each and every one of us. We all face our own struggles and we all have our own battles. Maybe it's a personal goal you've set, a relationship you're trying to rebuild, a career you're striving to grow, or a dream that feels so far out of reach. You might feel like you're constantly hitting dead ends, like you're not making any progress at all. But I want you to know that every time you pick yourself up, every time you decide to keep moving forward, you're making progress, even if you can't see it right away. Take a moment to think about your own life. What is it that feels impossible to you right now? What challenge are you facing that feels like it's just too much to handle? Maybe you've been working towards a goal for a long time, and it seems like no matter what you do, the results just aren't coming. You try and try and try, but it feels like you're not getting any closer to where you want to be. In those moments, it's easy to get discouraged. It's easy to feel like maybe it's time to give up, to walk away from the dream. But I want you to think about something. The dream isn't gone. The dream is waiting for you to keep going. It's just around the corner, and you'll never get there if you stop now. Think about how many people have achieved what once seemed impossible simply by refusing to quit. Bethany Hamilton, for instance, was a promising young surfer when she lost her arm in a shark attack. For many, that would have been the end of their surfing career. But Bethany didn't let that setback define her. She learned how to surf with one arm and went on to become a world-class surfer, competing at the highest levels. She didn't let the circumstances control her story. She wrote her own story by deciding that she would rise above the challenges life had thrown at her. There are countless other examples of people who have faced the impossible and overcome it. Each of them faced setbacks, challenges, and moments of doubt. But they didn't let those moments define them. They chose to see those setbacks as temporary obstacles, not as permanent roadblocks. And that's what you need to do too. When life presents a challenge, don't let it stop you. Instead, embrace the challenge as part of the journey. Every time you face a setback, you have a choice. You can either let it stop you, or you can choose to rise above it and keep moving forward. That's what makes all the difference. But overcoming the impossible isn't always about grand gestures or big moments. Sometimes it's about taking small, consistent steps day after day, even when you don't feel like it. It's about showing up when you don't have the energy. It's about working hard when no one is watching. It's about continuing to push forward even when you don't see the results immediately. The small steps you take today will eventually lead to something much greater. You might not see the changes right away, but trust that they are happening, even when it feels like you're not moving at all. It's the consistency and the dedication to keep going that will carry you to success. And even when things seem impossible, even when it feels like the road is never ending, remember this: you are capable of more than you think. It might not be easy, and it might not happen overnight, but with each small step forward, you're proving to yourself that the impossible is only impossible until you make it happen. You have the strength, the resilience, and the courage to keep moving forward. There will be times when you feel like giving up. There will be times when the weight of everything you're carrying feels too much to handle. But in those moments, remember that you are stronger than you realize. You have the power to overcome the impossible. It won't be easy, but nothing worth having ever is. The road might be long, but each step you take will get you closer to your destination. Keep going, keep fighting, and never ever give up. Because at the end of the day, it's not the destination that matters most, it's the journey. It's the lessons you learn, the strength you build, and the growth you experience along the way. The impossible is waiting for you to prove it wrong, so don't stop now. Keep pushing, keep believing, and keep moving forward. You are capable of achieving greatness. Today, I want to talk about something truly transformative, something that holds the key to living a life filled with growth, success, and fulfillment. That's unlocking your full potential. If you're watching this, I know there's a part of you that believes you could be doing more, that you're capable of more. Whether that's achieving greater success in your career, breaking through personal limits, improving your health and fitness, or simply becoming the best version of yourself, the journey to unlocking your full potential is one that can change everything. But here's the thing, unlocking your potential isn't something that just happens to you. It's something you must actively choose and work toward every single day. It requires dedication, focus, and a mindset that's open to growth and transformation. The good news is there are clear principles, clear secrets that can guide you along this journey. These aren't abstract ideas or theoretical concepts. These are practical, actionable steps that you can begin applying right now to create meaningful change in your life. So today, I'm going to share with you 5 powerful secrets to unlocking your full potential, and they're going to reshape the way you think about success, growth, and what you're capable of. Whether you're looking to take your career to the next level, build better habits, or simply shift your mindset, these secrets will help you do it. Let's dive in. The first secret is perhaps the most fundamental, taking consistent, deliberate action. It may sound simple, but the truth is that most people overlook this crucial step. You see, a lot of people have big dreams and ideas, but they don't take the necessary actions to make those dreams a reality. They wait for the perfect moment, for the ideal conditions, or for a burst of motivation to hit them. But success doesn't work that way. Success isn't just about having a good idea. It's about taking continuous, focused action toward your goal day after day, even when things don't seem to be going your way. Think about it this way. There are thousands of people who have amazing ideas or talents, but fail to make any progress because they aren't taking action. They talk about their plans, they brainstorm, but they never move forward. On the other hand, there are also people who aren't necessarily the smartest or the most talented, but because they consistently show up and put in the effort, they make incredible progress. The key here is consistency. Small, steady actions compounded over time create massive results. This is something that's often overlooked in our fast-paced, instant gratification world. We want things to happen quickly, we want to see results right away. But the reality is that success requires patience, persistence, and consistent effort. It's not about having one big moment of brilliance. It's about doing the work day after day, even when it feels tough, even when the results are slow. So ask yourself, what is one small action you can take today that moves you closer to your goals? Maybe it's writing 500 words for that book you've been dreaming about. Maybe it's working on that side project for an hour a day. Or maybe it's simply committing to an hour of uninterrupted focus time each morning. It doesn't have to be a grand gesture, just a step forward. And the more you do this, the more momentum you'll build. So the second secret to unlocking your potential is getting comfortable with discomfort. This is one that a lot of people avoid because, let's be honest, nobody likes being uncomfortable. But what if I told you that your greatest growth happens precisely in those moments when you're uncomfortable? That discomfort is often a signal that you're pushing past your limits, breaking through barriers, and growing in ways you never thought possible. Think about it. When was the last time you truly grew? Was it when everything was easy and comfortable? Probably not. Growth typically happens when we challenge ourselves, when we face fear, or when we put ourselves in situations that stretch our abilities. That feeling of discomfort means you're learning something new, you're expanding your horizons, and you're becoming more resilient. Now, I know this sounds easier said than done. It's easy to want to retreat to the safety of what we already know, to avoid taking risks. But the truth is, growth is a muscle, and like any muscle, it gets stronger the more you use it. The more you lean into discomfort, the more you'll build your tolerance for it. You'll learn to embrace those moments instead of shy away from them. Next time you face a challenge or step into an unfamiliar situation, rather than avoiding it or retreating to your comfort zone, lean in. Embrace the discomfort. Push through the initial fear or resistance. Over time, discomfort will become the new normal, and you'll discover that you can achieve things you never thought were possible. Discomfort isn't the enemy, it's your ally in the pursuit of growth. The third secret is something that can dramatically change your life: the power of mindset. Now, this is where things get really exciting. Your mindset determines everything. How you view yourself, your challenges, and the world around you shapes your reality. This is why it's so crucial to cultivate what's called a growth mindset. A growth mindset is the belief that your abilities aren't fixed, that you can always learn, improve, and adapt. With a growth mindset, setbacks are not seen as failures. Instead, they're viewed as valuable learning experiences. When you face challenges, you don't give up. You get curious. You ask yourself, what can I learn from this? How can I approach this differently next time? On the flip side, a fixed mindset, the belief that your abilities are set and can't be changed, can hold you back in ways you don't even realize. When you have a fixed mindset, you might shy away from challenges because you think failure reflects your innate abilities. You might think, I'm not good at this, so I'll never be good at it. But with a growth mindset, you realize that you can always get better if you put in the effort. The beauty of a growth mindset is that it empowers you to keep going, no matter how hard things get. It reminds you that you're capable of learning and improving at anything you set your mind to. The good news is, you don't have to be born with a growth mindset. It's something you can develop over time. So if you find yourself thinking, I can't do this, or I'll never be good at this, try flipping that thought. Instead of saying, I'm not good at this, say, I'm not good at this yet. Instead of saying, I'll never be successful, say, I'll find a way to make it work, no matter how long it takes. Your mindset is your most powerful tool, so train it to work for you, not against you. The fourth secret is about the people around you. This is something many people overlook, but it's incredibly important. Surround yourself with the right people. You've heard the saying, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and it's true. The people you surround yourself with will have an enormous influence on your success, your mindset, and your overall well-being. Think about it. If you spend your time with people who are constantly negative, critical, or unsupportive, how can you expect to thrive? Negative energy is draining, and it can hold you back from reaching your full potential. On the other hand, if you surround yourself with people who challenge you, inspire you, and push you to grow, you'll find yourself elevating to new heights. But it's not just about surrounding yourself with positive people. It's also about surrounding yourself with those who will hold you accountable, who will question you, who will ask you hard questions. These are the people who will push you to do better, to think bigger, and to strive for more. They won't let you settle for mediocrity. They'll encourage you to reach for excellence. So take a look at your circle. Are the people around you encouraging you to grow? Are they supporting your dreams? Are they holding you accountable to your goals? If not, it might be time to rethink your relationships. Surround yourself with people who lift you up, challenge you, and push you to be better. Finally, let's talk about the power of consistency. This is where so many people fall short, and it's why most people never reach their full potential. Success is not about having a burst of effort for a week or two. It's about showing up consistently, day in and day out. It's about doing the work even when you don't feel like it, even when the results aren't immediate. Think about it. The most successful people you know didn't get where they are by doing a little bit of work here and there. They got there by putting in the work every single day, by staying disciplined, by staying committed to their goals. The secret to success is the compound effect, the idea that small, consistent actions over time lead to massive results. Just like saving a little bit of money every day can lead to wealth over time, small, consistent efforts lead to massive success. It's the discipline of showing up even when you don't feel motivated, even when things are tough, that leads to breakthroughs. If you can commit to consistency, you'll start seeing results that will blow you away. Whether it's your career, your health, or your personal growth, consistency is the glue that holds everything together. Stick with it, keep showing up, and trust the process. So let's wrap this up. Unlocking your full potential isn't a one-time event, it's a lifelong process. It requires action, discomfort, the right mindset, the right people, and most importantly, consistency. But if you can commit to these principles, if you can apply them daily, you'll be amazed at what you can achieve. Remember, the only limit to your potential is the one you place on yourself. So what's one small step you can take today toward unlocking your full potential? Take that step. Keep going. And remember, you've got everything you need inside you to create the life you've always dreamed of. Success isn't something that happens overnight. It's a result of consistent habits, smart decisions, and the right mindset over time. It's not about being perfect or having everything fall into place by luck. It's about cultivating certain habits that pave the way to long-term growth. So today, we're going to explore the top 10 habits of highly successful people that you can adopt in your own life. Habits that are not just for entrepreneurs or high achievers, but can be used by anyone, regardless of what success looks like for you. Let's start with the first one, goal setting. It's easy to have a vague idea of what we want in life, but successful people take it to the next level. They don't just dream, they set smart goals, specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, if you want to get healthier, it's not enough to say, I want to exercise more. You have to be specific. I want to exercise 4 times a week for 30 minutes each session. When you make your goals clear and measurable, it becomes easier to take action and track your progress. Writing down your goals, breaking them into smaller tasks, and regularly reviewing them will help you stay focused and avoid getting overwhelmed. Having a roadmap gives you direction, and it helps you stay on track, especially when the going gets tough. Now, moving on to the second habit, time management. The truth is, everyone has the same 24 hours in a day, but the way we use those hours makes all the difference. Highly successful people know that time is one of their most precious resources, and they manage it carefully. They plan their days, weeks, and even months ahead. One technique that many successful people use is time blocking. This is where you dedicate specific blocks of time to certain tasks, ensuring that you're not constantly multitasking or getting sidetracked. For instance, if you know that you're most productive in the morning, use that time for your most important tasks. You could block off 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. for deep work, and then leave the afternoons for meetings or less mentally demanding tasks. Setting boundaries and eliminating distractions is also crucial for time management. You could start by reducing the number of apps you check during work hours or setting a timer to focus on a task for a set period. Learning is another habit that can't be overlooked. The most successful people in the world are lifelong learners. They are constantly looking for ways to improve themselves, whether through books, podcasts, online courses, or interacting with people who can offer new insights. The idea is simple. If you stop learning, you stop growing. And if you're not growing, you're falling behind. For example, someone who wants to become a better public speaker might take a course on communication, join a Toastmasters group, or simply practice in front of a mirror every day. Successful people tend to read a lot of books, articles, and research. Warren Buffett, for instance, is known to spend 80% of his day reading. He believes that reading helps him stay informed, ahead of the curve, and adaptable. The great thing is, learning doesn't need to be time-consuming or expensive. Start by setting aside 15-30 minutes each day for reading or listening to educational podcasts. You'll be amazed at how much knowledge you can absorb over time. The fourth habit is discipline. This is the key to consistency. It's easy to get motivated when you start something new, but the real challenge is sticking with it, especially when the excitement fades. Successful people don't wait for motivation to strike. They rely on self-discipline and the habits they've built to keep going. They do what needs to be done, even when they don't feel like it. A good example is the way athletes train. They follow a strict schedule, even on days they feel tired or uninspired. Similarly, you can build your own discipline by sticking to a morning routine or committing to certain tasks every day, no matter how you feel. To strengthen your self-discipline, start small and gradually increase the challenge. Whether it's committing to wake up at 6 a.m., working on a project for 30 minutes each day, or avoiding distractions during work hours, consistency is what ultimately leads to success. You'll be amazed at how much more you can achieve when you build this muscle. The fifth habit is maintaining a positive mindset. Mindset plays a huge role in your success. If you constantly doubt yourself or expect failure, you'll likely face challenges with less confidence and resilience. But successful people don't see failures as permanent. They view them as learning experiences. They practice positive self-talk and focus on solutions instead of problems. For instance, if they face an obstacle, instead of saying, "This is impossible," they think, "What can I learn from this?" It's about seeing every challenge as an opportunity to grow. One simple way to shift your mindset is by practicing gratitude daily. Start or end your day by writing down 3 things you're grateful for. This simple habit can help rewire your brain to focus on the positive, even during difficult times. Let's talk about networking now. You've probably heard the saying, "It's not what you know, but who you know." While knowing the right things is important, the people you surround yourself with can make a huge impact on your success. Networking isn't just about meeting people for business. It's about building genuine relationships. Successful people spend time nurturing relationships with mentors, peers, and even people in different industries. They attend events, meet new people, and connect with others in meaningful ways. The value of a strong network is that it opens doors to opportunities, insights, and support that you wouldn't otherwise have access to. One way you can start networking is by attending industry conferences, joining online communities, or simply reaching out to people whose work you admire. Remember, networking isn't about asking for something right away. It's about building trust and adding value first. The seventh habit is gratitude. We touched on this a little already, but gratitude is so powerful that it deserves its own mention. Successful people practice gratitude regularly. They take time to reflect on what they have, rather than focusing on what they don't. This keeps them grounded and fosters a sense of contentment, which is essential for long-term success. Practicing gratitude has been shown to improve mental health, increase happiness, and help people feel more motivated. You can start by writing down what you're thankful for each day. It can be big things like your health or family, or small things like a productive day or a kind word from a colleague. Over time, this habit will help you shift your focus away from stress and toward the things that truly matter. Prioritizing health is another non-negotiable habit for success. You can't achieve greatness if you're constantly exhausted, stressed, or unhealthy. Successful people know that taking care of their physical and mental health is essential to being productive and sharp. This means exercising regularly, eating nutritious food, getting enough sleep, and practicing mindfulness. Many successful people have built fitness routines into their daily schedules. For instance, Richard Branson is known to work out every morning, claiming it helps him stay productive and focused throughout the day. The key here is consistency. Even if you can't commit to an hour-long workout every day, find ways to incorporate movement into your routine. Whether it's a brisk walk, stretching, or a short home workout, staying active will benefit both your mind and body. The ninth habit is resilience. Success doesn't come without its challenges. Every successful person has faced setbacks, failures, and moments of doubt. What sets them apart is their ability to bounce back and keep going. Resilience is about having the mental toughness to overcome difficulties and stay focused on your goals, no matter what life throws your way. You can build resilience by focusing on your long-term vision and remembering why you started in the first place. When something goes wrong, instead of giving up, ask yourself, what can I learn from this experience? Keep moving forward, even if the steps are small. Resilience is built over time through repeated action, and it's one of the most valuable traits you can develop for long-term success. Lastly, taking time for yourself is a habit that's often overlooked. You might think that to be successful, you need to work around the clock. However, successful people know that taking breaks and recharging is essential to staying at the top of their game. They make time for hobbies, relaxation, and quality time with loved ones. This balance helps them avoid burnout and maintain their creativity and focus. Taking regular breaks, disconnecting from work, and engaging in activities you enjoy are all part of a healthy, sustainable path to success. So if you want to be successful, remember that it's not about one grand action. It's about building these habits over time. Start with small changes and gradually work your way toward incorporating all 10 habits into your life. Success doesn't come from a single moment. It's the result of consistent, intentional actions that align with your goals and values. The more you practice these habits, the more they'll become part of who you are. So get started today and start building the habits that will take you to the next level. Life has a way of throwing curveballs at us. There are moments when it feels like everything is falling apart and we don't have any control over it. We've all been there. There's something about those seasons where we feel overwhelmed, discouraged, and lost. Whether it's a loss, an illness, a financial struggle, or a relationship breakdown, we've all faced situations that make us wonder how we'll get through. And in those moments, it's natural to ask questions like, why is this happening? Or, where is God in all of this? But what if, instead of focusing on the chaos, we could focus on the one thing that will help us through? Trusting God in every situation. Trusting God isn't always easy. It's easy to trust Him when everything is going well, when we can see the plan, when we understand what's happening. But trusting Him in the midst of pain, uncertainty, or difficulty requires faith that transcends our understanding. It requires letting go of the need for control, letting go of the need to know what's going to happen next, and instead embracing the truth that God is in control. There is a peace that comes from trusting God that surpasses all understanding, but that peace is often found only when we're willing to lean into the unknown. When we think about trust, we often think about the people we trust most in our lives. Whether it's a close friend, a parent, or a spouse, trust is built over time. It's built through consistency, reliability, and showing up when we need someone. The same is true with God. When we learn to trust Him, it's because we've seen His faithfulness time and time again. We've witnessed how He's come through in our past, how He's never abandoned us, and how His plans are always better than our own. It's this trust in His character, His goodness, His faithfulness, His love that enables us to trust Him, even when life feels uncertain. There's a powerful verse in Proverbs 3:5-6 that says, "Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight." This verse reminds us that our understanding is limited. We don't always know what's best for us. We don't always understand why things happen the way they do. But God does. His wisdom and understanding are beyond ours, and when we trust Him with all our hearts, He will lead us in the right direction. Trusting God doesn't mean we'll always have all the answers, but it does mean we're willing to let go of our own need to control and allow God to guide us. Think about the story of Job for a moment. Job was a man who lost everything: his wealth, his health, and even his children. And yet, through it all, Job continued to trust God. His friends tried to convince him to curse God and give up, but Job refused. Even in his deepest pain and confusion, he declared, "Though He slay me, yet will I trust in Him." Job 13:15. Job's story reminds us that even when everything seems lost, we can still choose to trust God. And in the end, God restored Job's life in ways that Job could have never imagined. Job's story shows us that God's plan is often greater than we can see in the moment. Joseph's life offers another incredible example of trust. Joseph was sold into slavery by his brothers, falsely accused, and thrown into prison for a crime he didn't commit. Yet through it all, Joseph continued to trust God. He didn't know why all of these terrible things were happening to him, but he trusted that God had a purpose. Eventually, Joseph rose to a position of power in Egypt, where he was able to save many people, including his own family, from famine. His story teaches us that God is working behind the scenes, even when we can't see it. Sometimes God's purpose for our lives unfolds in ways that don't make sense at first, but when we trust Him, He brings everything together in His perfect timing. But what happens when we don't understand what God is doing? What happens when life is hard and we're faced with situations that seem impossible? That's when trust is truly tested. It's easy to trust God when everything is going according to plan, but trusting Him when the road is rough requires deeper faith. It requires trusting that He knows what's best for us, even when we can't see the outcome. Isaiah 55:8-9 reminds us that God's thoughts and ways are higher than ours. His perspective is not limited like ours is. We may want immediate answers or quick fixes to our problems, but God's timing is different. God doesn't always act according to our schedules. Sometimes He allows us to wait, to grow, to learn, and to develop the character we need to handle the blessings He has in store. Waiting on God's timing can be frustrating, but it's in the waiting that our faith is strengthened. In the waiting, we learn to trust not only in God's plans, but in His heart. We trust that He is good, that He is for us, and that He loves us beyond measure. Even when things don't seem to make sense, we can hold on to the truth that God is with us in every season of life. Psalm 23:4 says, "Even though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil, for You are with me." God promises His presence with us, even in the darkest moments. We are never alone, no matter how bleak the situation may seem. But trusting God doesn't mean we won't face challenges. In fact, Jesus Himself told His disciples in John 16:33, "In this world you will have trouble, but take heart, I have overcome the world." Jesus promised us that we would face difficulties, but He also promised that we wouldn't face them alone. When we trust God, we're not saying that we won't experience hardship or pain, but that we know God is with us, guiding us through it all. Our confidence in Him comes from the fact that He has already overcome the world, and because of Him, we can overcome anything that comes our way. As we journey through life, we need to remind ourselves of God's faithfulness. There are times when it's easy to forget how good God has been, especially when we're in the midst of a difficult situation. But when we look back on our lives, we can see how God has worked in the past. We can see how He has come through for us time and time again. Reflecting on these moments can strengthen our faith and help us trust Him in the present. If God has been faithful before, we can trust that He will be faithful now. And when we face those times of doubt, those moments when we feel like we can't go on, we need to remember that God is faithful to give us the strength we need. Philippians 4:13 tells us, I can do all things through Christ who gives me strength. In our own strength we may falter, but when we lean on God's strength, there is nothing we can't face. Trusting God doesn't mean we won't feel weak or overwhelmed at times, but it does mean that we know we have access to God's strength to carry us through. Trusting God also means surrendering our worries to Him. In Matthew 6:34, Jesus tells us, Therefore do not worry about tomorrow, for tomorrow will worry about itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own. Worrying about the future only drains our energy and takes our focus away from trusting God in the present. When we give our worries to God, we are choosing to trust that He is already at work in our lives and that He will take care of us. Philippians 4:6-7 encourages us to bring our anxieties before God in prayer, with thanksgiving and promises that His peace will guard our hearts and minds in Christ Jesus. One of the most important aspects of trusting God is learning to rest in His love. God loves us with an everlasting love, a love that never changes, no matter what we face. Romans 8:38-39 assures us that nothing can separate us from the love of God in Christ Jesus. Not trials, not troubles, not anything. When we trust God, we are acknowledging that His love for us is secure and unshakable. Even when we don't understand what's happening in our lives, we can rest in the truth that God loves us deeply and that His plans for us are always good. The bottom line is that trusting God isn't a one-time decision. It's a daily choice. It's choosing to trust God in the big things and the small things. It's choosing to trust Him when life is easy and when life is hard. It's choosing to believe that He has a plan for us, even when we can't see the way forward. And it's choosing to believe that He is with us every step of the way, guiding us, strengthening us, and loving us. As we trust God in every situation, we open ourselves up to His peace, His purpose, and His presence. We may not always understand what's happening, but we can trust that God is always working behind the scenes. When we trust Him, we find peace in the chaos, hope in the darkness, and joy in the journey. So no matter what you're facing right now, no matter how overwhelming or uncertain it may seem, I encourage you to trust God. Trust that He is with you. Trust that He has a purpose for your life. Trust that He is good, that He is faithful, and that He will never leave you. Trust God in every situation, and you will experience a peace that only He can provide. Hey everyone, today I want to talk to you about something that can completely transform your life, how to crush your goals and build the life you truly deserve. This isn't just about setting goals, it's about turning those dreams into reality and creating a life that excites you every single day. Whether you've been struggling to get started or you've been working hard but not seeing the results you want, this video is going to give you the tools and mindset you need to keep pushing forward. So let's start with one of the most important things you'll ever hear. Your biggest barrier to success is not the world around you, but the stories you tell yourself. So many people are held back not by their lack of ability or resources, but by their own mindset. If you've ever heard that little voice in your head telling you you're not good enough or that you can't do something, I want you to understand that you're not alone. We all have that voice. But the key to crushing your goals is learning how to change that voice, or better yet, shut it down altogether. Think about it. The first step to success is believing in yourself. If you don't believe that you can achieve what you set out to do, it's almost impossible to take meaningful action. That's why the first thing I want to encourage you to do today is start changing your internal dialogue. Start affirming to yourself every single day that you're capable, that you deserve the success you want, and that you're fully capable of creating the life you dream of. I'm telling you, the more you do this, the more your mind will start to believe it, and that's when you begin to shift your reality. So you don't have to be perfect. You don't have to have it all figured out. You just need to believe that you're worthy of the life you want. Once you've got your mindset in a better place, it's time to start setting some goals. But here's where a lot of people go wrong. They set goals that are too vague. They say things like, I want to be successful, or I want to be happy. But those kinds of goals are not actionable. Success is an outcome, not a goal in itself. Happiness is a state of being, not a task you check off. Instead, I want you to define success for yourself in a very specific way. What does success look like to you? Maybe it's getting fit, building a business, writing a book, or becoming financially independent. Whatever it is, make sure you define it in concrete terms. But even that's not enough. You need to break your big goals down into smaller, more manageable chunks. This is where the SMART goal framework comes in. SMART stands for specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. For example, instead of saying, I want to lose weight, try saying, I want to lose 10 pounds in 3 months by working out 3 times a week and eating a balanced diet. That's a goal that you can measure, track, and act upon. And when you break your goals down into bite-sized pieces, they feel a lot more achievable. One thing to keep in mind is that your goals will evolve over time. As you grow and your circumstances change, the things you want may shift as well. That's okay. In fact, it's a sign that you're learning and adapting. The important thing is to remain flexible and not get discouraged when your goals change or when things don't go according to plan. Life is unpredictable, and part of building the life you deserve is learning how to adjust along the way. Don't be rigid about your goals. Stay focused on your overall vision and be open to the path you need to take to get there. Now let's talk about something that's absolutely critical to your success: planning. Goals without a plan are just dreams. A plan is the bridge between where you are now and where you want to be. It's your roadmap for success, and you need one to get anywhere. But here's the thing: your plan doesn't have to be perfect. In fact, it's going to change as you go along, but you need something to get started. The key is to break your plan down into actionable steps. Ask yourself, what can I do today? What can I do this week? What can I do this month? This is where people often go wrong. They get overwhelmed by the idea of a big goal and then do nothing because they don't know where to start. The trick is to just start with one small thing. Maybe it's reading a chapter of that book you want to write. Maybe it's setting up a website for your business. Whatever it is, make sure it's something that moves you forward. Progress is progress, no matter how small. But here's the catch: your plan will only work if you stay consistent. That's where a lot of people get tripped up. It's easy to get excited about a new goal, but when the novelty wears off, staying consistent becomes the real challenge. This is where discipline comes in. Discipline isn't about being perfect. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. It's about doing the work even when it's hard or boring or when you'd rather do something else. Consistency is what will turn your goals into reality day in and day out. One way to make consistency easier is by building habits. When you turn actions into habits, they become automatic. You don't have to think about it, and you don't have to rely on motivation to get you started. If you want to be successful, start by developing habits that support your goals. For example, if you want to get fit, make exercise a daily habit. If you want to grow your business, make a habit of working on it for an hour every day. The more you do something consistently, the more natural it becomes. But here's the thing about consistency: it's not always going to be easy. Life is going to throw obstacles at you. There will be days when you feel exhausted, when you want to give up, when everything seems like it's falling apart. And when that happens, you need to lean into resilience. Resilience is what helps you bounce back from failure and setbacks. It's what helps you push through when things get tough. The reality is, there's no success without failure. You're going to mess up. You're going to fall short sometimes. But the key is to not let those failures define you. Instead, use them as lessons. When you fail, ask yourself, what can I learn from this? And what can I do differently next time? Failure isn't the end of the road, it's part of the journey. And the more resilient you are, the faster you'll bounce back and keep moving forward. Another important piece of this puzzle is accountability. It's one thing to set goals for yourself, but it's another to have someone or something to hold you accountable. This could be a friend, a mentor, or even a coach. But having someone who checks in on you, who supports you, and who pushes you when you start to slack off is incredibly valuable. Accountability helps you stay on track, and it keeps you focused when life starts to get in the way. It's easy to let yourself off the hook when no one else is watching, but accountability forces you to stay committed to your goals. And as you work toward your goals, don't forget about self-care. This is where a lot of people get it wrong. They get so caught up in the hustle that they forget to take care of themselves. But the truth is, you cannot achieve your goals if you're burned out or unhealthy. Make sure you're taking time to rest, recharge, and nourish your body and mind. Get enough sleep. Exercise regularly. Eat healthy foods. Do things that make you happy and relax. When you're healthy and well rested, you're going to show up with more energy, more focus, and more determination. So take care of yourself, because without your health, nothing else matters. Finally, I want to talk about celebrating your wins. So often we get so focused on the end goal that we forget to celebrate the progress we make along the way. But the truth is, every step forward is a victory. Every small action you take toward your goal is something to be proud of. Celebrate the milestones, no matter how small they seem. Acknowledge your hard work. This positive reinforcement will keep you motivated and remind you of the progress you've made, which will fuel you for the next step in your journey. And remember, building the life you deserve isn't a destination, it's a journey. It's not about getting to a certain point and saying, "I've made it." It's about continuously growing, learning, and evolving. You're always going to be on this path of self-improvement, and the life you deserve is something that you'll keep building piece by piece, day by day. So to wrap it all up, if you want to crush your goals and build the life you deserve, start by believing in yourself. Set clear, actionable goals and create a plan. Stay consistent even when it gets tough. Be resilient, learn from your failures, and don't forget to take care of yourself along the way. And most importantly, never stop believing in your ability to make your dreams come true. Your future is waiting for you. You've got this. Now, go out there and get it. Hey there. I'm really glad you're here today because I want to talk about something that touches all of us at one point or another. We've all experienced those moments when life seems too overwhelming. When it feels like we're stuck, like we're facing challenge after challenge, and no matter how hard we try, things just don't seem to go our way. You may be dealing with a personal struggle, a work issue, or just an overall sense of burnout. But today we're going to focus on one crucial thing: how to stay motivated when life gets tough. I know it's not easy to stay motivated when the world feels like it's against you. It's easy to feel defeated when you're working hard and yet still facing setback after setback. But I want you to know that you're not alone in this. Everyone at some point in their life faces moments of doubt and exhaustion. These moments don't define you though. What defines you is how you respond to them. It's about how you push forward, how you find ways to reconnect with your drive, and how you keep moving forward even when things get tough. First, I want to address something really important. It's okay to feel down, overwhelmed, or demotivated. I think sometimes we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to be always upbeat, always positive, and always motivated, especially with all the advice we see online about hustling and grinding non-stop. But the truth is, motivation isn't always consistent. Some days you're going to feel on top of the world. On others you might feel completely drained, disconnected, or like you're barely holding it together. And guess what? That's totally normal. It's part of being human. So you don't need to feel motivated every second to still make progress. It's about showing up even when you don't feel like it. Now, if you've been in a tough spot for a while, it's easy to get discouraged. You might start to believe that maybe you're just not cut out for this thing you're working on, whether it's a project, a goal, or something else in your life. This is where we need to flip the script. The fact that things are hard doesn't mean you're failing. It's actually a sign that you're pushing boundaries. It's when things get tough that you're truly growing, even if it doesn't feel like it right away. So let's start with one of the most important tools for staying motivated: self-awareness. Acknowledging your emotions and giving yourself permission to feel what you feel is incredibly powerful. It's easy to think that we need to ignore our feelings or push through them in order to keep going, but the truth is that denying how you're feeling often makes it worse. If you're frustrated, stressed, or tired, it's okay to say that out loud, either to yourself or someone else. Take a moment to reflect on why you're feeling the way you are and what might be contributing to it. Once you understand where you're coming from, it's much easier to navigate through it. Now let's talk about the importance of having a clear sense of purpose. When things get tough, it's easy to lose sight of the bigger picture. We get bogged down in the day-to-day challenges and forget why we started in the first place. That's why it's so important to reconnect with your why. Your purpose isn't just something you think about once and forget. It's a core reason that you come back to every time you face a roadblock. Maybe you're working toward a promotion, building your own business, or pursuing a passion project. Whatever it is, reminding yourself of the reason behind your effort can reignite your passion and give you the energy to keep going, even when the road feels long. And if you don't have a clear sense of purpose yet, don't worry. It's okay to still be figuring things out. Life doesn't have to have one singular purpose, and it's okay if your goals change or evolve over time. The important thing is to create small goals that you can achieve right now. It could be something as simple as getting out of bed and making your bed, or taking a walk when you're feeling overwhelmed. These small actions will build momentum and help you create a path forward when it seems hard to find one. Another really important thing is to set realistic expectations for yourself. We can be our own worst critics sometimes. When we set these huge, lofty goals that seem impossible to reach, we're setting ourselves up for disappointment. Instead, break things down. Instead of saying, "I'm going to change my entire life today," try saying, Today, I'm going to do one thing that gets me closer to my goal. Every little step is progress. If you're tackling a big goal, break it into smaller pieces. Maybe it's creating a to-do list, scheduling specific times for tasks, or setting short deadlines. By making each task more digestible, you take away the overwhelming nature of the big picture and give yourself room to breathe. Let's take this even further and talk about the importance of habits and consistency. Motivation isn't something you just rely on when you're feeling energetic. It's also about creating habits that keep you moving forward, even when you're not feeling your best. This is where building a routine can be extremely helpful. When you don't have to think about what you need to do next, you conserve your mental energy for the really important decisions. A routine can keep you grounded, and even on days when you're feeling less motivated, you can still go through the motions and make progress. But let's be clear, routines aren't about rigidly following a checklist of to-dos without ever allowing flexibility. Life happens, things come up, and sometimes you need to adapt. It's important to allow yourself some grace and adjust as necessary. And that brings me to the concept of self-compassion, which is key when it comes to motivation. If you fall off track or miss a deadline or forget something important, it's okay. We're not perfect, and we're never going to be perfect. The goal is to keep going, not to beat yourself up. If you make a mistake, don't get discouraged, learn from it, and try again. Remember that motivation isn't all about grand gestures. It's about the tiny victories that build up over time. Maybe you didn't have the best day, but you did anything that moved you closer to your goal. That's a win, and it's so important to celebrate those wins, no matter how small they may seem. Whether it's getting through a tough meeting or writing 500 words when you thought you wouldn't write a single one, give yourself credit for the progress you've made. Another really helpful tip for staying motivated is surrounding yourself with positive influences. Think about the people you spend the most time with. Do they lift you up? Do they make you feel like you can take on the world, or do they drain your energy? When life is tough, you need people around you who encourage and support you, not people who make you feel worse. If you find yourself surrounded by negativity, it's time to evaluate whether that's helping or hindering your motivation. Seek out people who inspire you, whether that's family, friends, mentors, or even online communities that share your interests or goals. It's also crucial to take care of your body, even when life gets tough. Your physical health is directly linked to your mental health. If you're neglecting your body, whether that's through poor diet, lack of exercise, or not getting enough sleep, your energy and motivation will naturally take a hit. But when you take care of your body, you're setting yourself up for better focus and productivity. So try to get moving, eat nourishing foods, and prioritize rest. Even if it's just a short walk or a few minutes of stretching, taking care of your physical health can have a huge impact on your motivation. Sometimes when things get tough, we just need a change of perspective. A fresh environment or a shift in scenery can make a huge difference. If you've been staring at the same four walls for too long, or if you're working in a space that feels cluttered and chaotic, that might be contributing to your lack of motivation. Try changing things up, whether that's working in a new location, reorganizing your workspace, or even taking a short trip outside. A change of pace can give you the mental clarity and motivation you need to refocus. And here's the thing, it's important to remember that tough times don't last forever. It might feel like it's all piling up on you, but challenges are temporary. They will pass, and when they do, you'll have grown stronger from the experience. You're capable of more than you realize, and each obstacle you overcome makes you more resilient. Keep pushing forward, one step at a time. Don't worry about having everything figured out right now. Just keep going. Ultimately, staying motivated when life gets tough is about resilience. It's about showing up even on the days when you feel like you can't. It's about recognizing that even small progress is still progress. And it's about being kind to yourself through the tough moments. So take a deep breath and give yourself some grace. You're doing better than you think, and you're stronger than you know. Keep going and know that you've got this.